Hi everyone, welcome to my first video. I will show you how to make your own custom StrayKids version 1 Lightstick compass insert. So this one, I already have one sitting in here. This is the custom that I made with real flowers inside. And then I'll show you how to make some different design, such as this with glitter, different colors, and something like that. Okay, so let's get started. First thing first, you will need your compass, of course. And I have taken mine out already, so that's what it looks like when you take out the inside. You also need gloves, which I already have on. And you will also need toothpicks. This is what I like to use. This is the flexible plastic toothpicks. You can get this at your dollar store or any drugstore, online, wherever you can find. You also need a scale to weigh the silicone rubber where we will use to make your custom mold. This is what my mold looks like when it's done. So to make this, you will need to find yourself a clear plastic case. So something that looks like this, just a clear case you can buy at dollar store, Daiso, or online. So this one is about 6 1/4 inches by 4 1/4, and the height is about 2 1/2 inches in height. You can use any size you want as long as your compass can sit inside them. And for me, I like to use this size because I kind of lay mine out like this, putting it together, and then pour the silicone rubber on top. And in the end, this is what I get, a product like this, about 3/4 of an inch thick. Okay. You will need double-sided tape. And of course, you will need some resin. So this is the brand that I use, Let's Resin. And I just get their silicone rubber for mold making. This is what the box looks like. And I think I got mine on Amazon. So this comes in two parts, part A and part B. And I find that to make something this size, I did a lot of trial and error. I would need about 110 grams of each part, making a total of 220 grams of silicone rubber. And that will give you like a perfect amount with no waste. But of course, when you make your own, you can do your own trial and error if you want. You also need some clear plastic cups. It's just a standard one you can get at a dollar store. Or you can invest in the silicone one that you can reuse. Might be better for the environment. And some popsicle. I use this to stir. Okay, so let's get started. First, take your light stick, open it up, and take out the compass inside. And then just pry open the star, so then you get left with two halves like that. And this is pretty light. Once they're sitting in here and you pour the silicone resin on top, they might flow up. So what I do is I just get double-sided tape and I just line the bottom. I line the bottom of this plastic box with double-sided tape. And what that will do is it will help the compass stick to the box a little bit so it won't float, and later on it will be easier for you to lift this whole entire piece up using that. So just I do, like if my compass was sitting like this, I would do maybe 2 or 3 lines going across. Make sure you have some tab hanging on the ends either side, so then we'll use that to pull it. So I do about 2. I only have 2 right now. Maybe I'll do another one. So over here, put the compass in and then press it down. Same with the star, maybe 2 strips. And then do another strip going this way. So let me just add 1 more strip for the circle part of the compass. There. It doesn't have to be perfect, as long as you have enough to kind of hold them down. There you go. Okay. And then the compass will go in. So notice how we have the writing, you make StrayKids stay on both sides, but because of the way that we're making the mold, later on when you get your insert, that wording will only show up on one side. And that's just how it is. Okay, and you put it in and press it down, get your star, put it in, press it down so it sticks. If you happen to get a sticky brand of double-sided tape, that would be better. This one I got, this is the first time I'm using this. It's not too sticky. Any double-sided tape will do. See, that just lifted right up, so I am hoping this will stay for the sake of this video. Just kind of press it down so then it sticks to the box as much as you can. I'm just going to press it down some more here, making sure that the star will stick to the box. This one is giving me some trouble. But yeah, just line it up so then you have space around the edges and space in between. So like that. Okay. I think this might be good enough. Set it aside for now. Okay, next, put on your gloves. I get my off earlier because I was having trouble with and now we are going to measure out our silicone rubber. So let's turn on our scale, set it in gram. We need equal part. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this plastic cup here. So it's about 6 grams. And then press it again, it'll go back to 0. So now we need about 110 grams each. So let's do part A. And when you buy this, it comes with instruction. So just read it. Whichever brand that you buy, just make sure you read the instruction of how to mix and how to cure. So for this one, you just pour equal part A and then pour equal part B into the mixing cup, and then you just stir for about 3 minutes, which is what we're going to do. Now that you have a whole cup, something like that, mix it. Now, what we're going to do is just slowly pour them on top. And the trick is, if you pour them from a higher up angle, once they hit, the bubble will slowly pop anyway. So just kind of slowly pour them in. Yep. I was a bit worried about my double-sided tape not being sticky enough, but it seems like it's doing its job of holding everything down. So we just kind of pour over here. Just pour everything in there. Now, if you are using a different size for your box or your frame, I should call it, then you just want to make sure that the amount of silicone rubber that you use will cover all the way to the top of the compass, and have at least a quarter or half an inch of space above it as well. So for my mold, once I take this out, the mold itself will only be about 3/4 of an inch. Because of the shape of this insert, sometimes the bubble gets trapped at the bottom and it can't rise up to pop, and that will leave you with a mold that has bubbles inside, and that's not good. So what I like to do is I like to just take, my thing is rising up. So you definitely need to get stickier double-sided tape, or else everything will go to waste, which I suspect this one will be. Yeah, so I like to use, so say, imagine this is sitting down like that, right? Then you want to take this and you put it in this end and just kind of do this motion, just so the bubbles will come out. And then I like to lift it, and I like the clear case because then I can see underneath if there's any bubble, and then just use the toothpick to kind of scrape it out like that from the bottom. Okay everyone, it is now the next day and this has solidified. As you can see, this is from the back. I see a little bit of an air bubble here, but that's okay, that could be fixed. This is what it should look like from the bottom. That's from the top, so we are gonna remove it. So just kind of get into the edges and start pulling them away so we can lift it up. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but this is just how I've been making mine. There we go, got all the edges out. Now we'll use the tapes to pull them up. I'm being a bit rough, but you do want to be a little bit careful so your mold doesn't part. There. Now we're just going to slowly pull the insert away from the mold. So just stretch it, and then you should see that it'll come out. Just like that. Now you want to be extra careful with the points of the star. So for example, with this point, stretch and then lift so you don't rip. Okay, do that for all sides. Since I use the wrong type of double-sided tape, my star was not flush to the box, so I'm having a bit of a harder time taking it out. But if you were to do this properly, this shouldn't be a problem and everything will just pop right out. There we go. So that's what you're left with. Same thing with this, just sort of pull it away at the edges. And it should come right off properly. Now, if you were to do this properly with proper double-sided tape, like sticky double-sided tape, so then the bottom sticks to the box, you shouldn't have this film here. But because mine was sort of floating on top while the silicone was curing, I get left with some of the silicone rubber. Then you just sort of pop it like that. Okay. Oh, it's a little sticky. Okay, and this is what we're left with. And I'll get a small scissor here. I'm just going to clean up the edges, whatever that's left on the edge. And I'm not sure if you can see underneath here. I do have some air bubbles that was created. But this should be okay. That's why if you take your time and get rid of all the air bubble while the silicone rubber is curing, you wouldn't have this issue and you have like a perfect mold. Now it's always good to get some tape as well. Any kind of tape really that would stick to the rubber. Just so you can have some kind of stickiness. Okay, so I'm going to start trimming at the edges just to get rid of all the excess silicone rubber. And then you might want to go into here as well, the middle section, and trim the excess. Just kind of at the edges. Whatever excess silicone that you see, just sort of trim them away to make a clean mold. This is the most time-consuming part of making the insert. It's making the mold. Just clean it up. And same with the stars. Just clean up the edges. Cut out the excess silicone. You can also use an X-Acto knife if you want. I find that using a small scissor works a little bit better. Get yourself a roll of tape. This is good because the silicone rubber is a little bit sticky. So I just sort of do this afterwards. Then it just lifts up all of the excess that I have cut. And that will clean your mold. So this is brand new, so it's quite a bit stickier than this. My old one is not tacky at all. And tape is also good for, you know, once you finish making them. Sometimes there are bits and pieces of resin and glitters and whatnot. You just put sticky tape down and it'll pick them all right up. And that's how I clean it after each use. You see, it just picks up all of that. I do this after every single use before I start a new pour. Okay, there you go. And then in the next video, I'll show you the next step of how to pour your resin to make the compass.